So, now that I see it doing what I expect it to do, I'm going to come all the way down and see what the display is currently saying. Okay, I can see top is open, left is open, right is open, bottom left unclear. Maybe open? Clouds make this so much harder without the lava. I believe everything's open except the middle, which is correct. So I'm going to say 0 is correct. So let's try 1. I got to make sure not to click on the boat. Okay. Torch turned on. This turned on. This turned off because this signal came back here and turned this torch off, which allowed this to invert back the other way. And so next time this comes around, this will turn back on, yada, yada, yada. So let's go find out if 1 is on. No. I can tell that the top left is open and it shouldn't be. So expect that to be closed and receiving a signal for the top left. And so a couple things I'm looking for is signal not reaching. Yep, right there. Sometimes whatever I hook up doesn't quite reach because I counted wrong. So on this, I believe I can see the top left is closed. So next is gonna be 2. We just did 1. I want to see this say 2 next. Much. I'll tell you one thing. Building this has burned so much food just from half heart fall damage. I see top open. I see top right open. I see middle open. I see bottom left open and bottom middle open. So I guess that's a 2. I can tell the top, obvious. Top right is open. I believe the middle is open. And I believe the bottom middle is open. It does appear that that is a 3. Okay. Can I see a 4? Yeah. To be clear, this is going way, way, way smoother than all the other digits. All of the other ones, I kept having to invert it, thinking that I had the initial input backwards, where if something was on, then the door should be open, but then it was all closed, so I inverted the signal at the very end. And then sometimes that was the solution, sometimes all that did was fix one of them because it was masking the problem of, do we have a 5? We do not. No, 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 maybe I do. Tell you one thing, keep questioning how to draw numbers. That's all this has taught me, is that sometimes I'm not sure if I know numbers. And so this is what it looks like inside each one of those little boats. I think if I have to build this, if I ever had to build this again, I think if I offset the pressure plate 1 forward from the door, then instead of a boat, use a minecart, which who knows what's going to happen with these boat mechanics, but if I can get the minecart to align with the corner of a block, or the middle of 2 blocks, then I can get rid of this whole system right here, because I can get it to sit on the pressure plate and be stopped by the door. And then when a signal comes by, it can continue through without falling in the hole. And water would be here and here, so it would always be in at least 1 block of water. All right, that looks correct. I've got everything except the top right corner running. I swear I did not test this before starting the video. That looks like 7 to me. Pretty clear as day when there's no clouds, eh? Tell you one thing though. If I had the audio working, then it would be a lot easier to tell when the boats are triggering the pressure plates. In fact, that would have saved me so much time because I set everything up only a few blocks long. assuming that the boats were able to trigger the pressure plate. But if they're only a couple blocks in, like here, if they're only traveling to say here, they're not going to trigger pressure plates even if there would, because their hitbox is just too high up and doesn't actually trigger the pressure plate. So if I had my sound on, I would have heard the fact that they weren't triggering the pressure plates forever ago and saved me a ton of time. Let's see. That looks like everything's open to me. That's 8. Surprisingly, I want to say this only took less than a double chest of red dust. That looks like a 9 to me. And I believe that does it. Well, those were 2 really easy fixes, and I wish all of them were that fast because I've spent many hours troubleshooting these. Handy. One issue, the reason there's no boat in here right now is that if a item drops on the boat, it kind of stops moving and just kind of goes dead, like a limp fish. I don't know what analogy would be for that, but it just completely stops. So if it continues what it's doing, it'll often crash. So it'd be a good idea to put a layer of glass over this, maybe. I'm considering it. I believe, like I was saying before, I want to kind of remove all this. That anywhere that doesn't have redstone, I kind of want to remove it so I can see down in there. Just gonna have catwalks like this. I think that would look more interesting. If for whatever reason the boats stop working, I think a minecart doesn't float at all. It's just a matter of pushing it, which it looks like we should be able to. So, well, I've solved the problem that doesn't exist yet, but I've got that in my pocket, I suppose. I don't trust boats. But I built a day counter out of them to trust them to count my days and minutes, yeah. The second I go to test it. Hundreds and the 10s aren't working. This is rude. Okay, so there was nothing wrong with the redstone. For some reason, another number was just triggered. 1? What the? The doors are just going. Oh. That's supposed to be a pulse, not a lock. Well, the resetting got stress test and it looks okay. Alright, I've got it all cleaned up. I'm going to want to put a layer of glass on top of the water maze, the waterways. Don't have enough glass to do that quite yet. I got it closed off so items can't fall on the boats or the pressure plates in the internal loops. Obviously I still need to make some kind of encasement, but I just wanted to show off all the pretty redstone dots. And then I need to build the display clocks on the other 4 sides above this, give it a roof, give it walls, and then I guess it's done. I've just got it set up so that there's 4 different positions. It should cycle through twice in one day, so midday would be noon, so straight up, and then midnight when this switches over to the next number would be straight up. Obviously it's not hooked up right now because the sun is rising and that's not the right position. Tried something and it ended up kind of looking like the new record that's about to get added I've seen. So I kind of liked it and went with it. So I've got it on, this time I actually am able to have it on all 4 sides. Previously, when I wanted to do one this side and one the other side for the digital numbers, that did not fit. But this is just simple 4, nothing crazy, and there's plenty of space to do it. Almost out of height for a roof though, so I'll have to figure that out. I think the only issue, or the only hard part for this piece was this cell right here is what hooks up to those 4 positions. So I had to pull the signal out, and that's this piece here. Pull the signal out, travel it up, and then I kind of got stuck at the digital clock, so I had to come out and over and then back in. to be able to get it up to the clock display. I got sick of going up there and manually moving the boats, so I did in fact add 1 minute, add 1 day, and add 10 days. And there we go. Got the boat in. This will go clockwise and changes. Got the lava in. I can see that says 8940. It's just a random number, but for the next version, I'm going to be starting it off at 0, and as soon as I start, I'm going to go. So only one side is going to have that number. I have the minute display on all 4 sides. Tried to make it so that it was both encased and still could see the wiring to an extent. Maybe if you want to go and push your face up against it, you could tell what's going on. The minute boat is in place and circulating. I think there it is right there. I left this open so I can put a new boat in if something should break. Takes a little bit of time for the boat to hit its basically optimal route, and so that there's no variation between the loops, and that's when it'll actually be in the 1 minute. But I just put this boat in right before recording, so it's got to take a few minutes to get the loop going properly. Yep. Looks like I have a couple of the minute hands that I didn't notice I had backwards, so I'll clean those up. But that'll be for me and me alone. The end of this clock. I'm never going to admit how long it took to make. Good day to you.